It is Liverpool against Everton at Anfield in a 4:30 kick-off tomorrow. And I'm delighted to say that Peter Macfarlane from the Blue Room joins us on the line to look ahead to tomorrow's game. Peter, as ever, really good to talk to you today. Thank you for giving us some of your time this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Paul. Great to speak to you.
Well, this is it. And you know what? It's always a very special occasion, this, Peter, isn't it? In both the men's and the women's game, of course. Clearly, Evertonians would love to see a repeat of last year's 3-0 win at Anfield. But it's been a bit of a disappointing start to the season so far for Everton, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think certainly. I think we'd give anything to have a repeat of last season's performance at Anfield. We managed to... Well, there's no other way to put it. We tore them to shreds. We beat them 3-0, but I'm sure there's a lot of Liverpool players and Liverpool fans who want some revenge, some level of revenge for that. Two contrasting starts to the seasons for both teams. Everton, we've actually lost every game so far this season. To be fair to us, I don't think we've deserved that. It certainly doesn't reflect the performances that we've been putting in. I think we've performed admirably. We certainly should have. We had a really tricky start against Brighton in the first 15 minutes and found ourselves 2 goals down. We seemed a bit slow at the traps, but after that we were the dominant side, and we were unlucky not to at least get a point in that game. Moving on to Leicester, I was there last week. We absolutely dominated, for most of the game. Missed a penalty, hit the post, had a goal disallowed, which I didn't agree with whatsoever. I've seen it back a few times now. I don't see why it was disallowed. And then Leicester obviously hit us with probably one of their only chances of the game. So we're disappointed with our start, but I'm certainly not disappointed with the performances of the players. I think that we deserve a lot more than we've got. On the flip side of that, I think Liverpool can be very happy with their start. Certainly in the league, they've won their opening 2 fixtures, including a really great result away at Arsenal, which not many teams will go to Arsenal and win this season. So I'm sure Liverpool will be approaching tomorrow with bags of confidence. But, regardless of injuries and regardless of how our form is at the moment in terms of the results, I've still got so much faith in this squad of players and in the managers to be able to go out tomorrow and hopefully get a result.
And in terms of the manager, Brian Sorensen says that he is super focused heading into tomorrow's derby, despite also losing, of course, to Manchester City in the League Cup midweek, because he says despite the defeat on Wednesday, he was able to take positives out of the performance against Manchester City.
Yeah, I think there were some positives. Certainly, I like the fact that the team didn't just give up at 2-0. I think even as supporters, I think we were a little bit quiet for a spell there because I think it had taken it out of us, travelling to Leicester at the weekend and certainly with the disappointment of the opening 2 results, and then to find ourselves 2-0 down was a little bit disheartening, but I feel like we sort of rallied around them. Certainly for the last 10 or 15 minutes, we didn't stop singing and kind of pushed the players on, and the players gave us something back as well, which was great to see. I think certainly, us as supporters, we have got to be patient with the side. One of the things that's not helping our cause at the moment is the amount of injuries that we've had to very key players. Elisa Stenovic is out for a few weeks. We're waiting to hear on the extent of Martina Piemonte's injury after a horrific challenge on it last week at Leicester, which meant that she was out against Man City, and I'm sure she's a doubt for tomorrow as well. So we do have a few injury issues, but having said that, we've got Karen Holmgaard and Sarah Holmgaard back in training now this week. Katja Snoys is now back in training, who's been a huge loss for us. Our top scorer last season. She's such a dangerous player. And someone that we love as supporters. She's a real goal threat. So if Katja can come back in, Tony Duggan's got a goal on Wednesday as well, so she'll be full of confidence. I've got plenty of faith in the side that we can go there and put on a performance.
Yeah, because Brian Sorensen, I think he made 5 changes against Manchester City from the side that lost against Leicester City last weekend, including, of course, a debut for Alicia Hearn. And also great to see Tony Duggan get in the back of the net with her first goal since coming back from maternity leave.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it didn't surprise me that we rested some players, to be honest with you, and certainly rotated the squad, because I don't really think the Conti Cup is anywhere near anyone's list of priorities. I think it's, to be honest, as a supporter, it almost feels like a bit of a waste of time, the Conti Cup, because we always seem to get drawn against the same teams every year. And if you lose one game, you pretty much out of the competition, but then you've got to carry on playing 4 or 5 other fixtures, and it just seems a waste of time to me. But the one positive is that you can get some minutes in the legs of some of the players on the, sort of on the outskirts of the starting 11. So it was great to see Alicia get her debut, and she put in a great show in the first half. Battled for every ball, and it was a difficult night for her as well. She was, seemed quite isolated. Her and Olsen, 2 very young players, but they led the line admirably. They put in so much work and effort, and it was fantastic to see. And certainly, it's something that we can look forward to for this season. And moving on to Tony Duggan as well. It was great to see Tony come back and get that goal. She's obviously worked so hard after being on maternity leave for all of last season. We've missed her massively. She is a big game player as well. So that goal at midweek may have come at just the right time for us. Certainly, if we're struggling a little bit in terms of injuries in our forward positions, Tony Duggan is a big game player, and certainly a Tony Duggan full of confidence will be a threat to any side.
Well, this is it. And, we look ahead to the Merseyside derby tomorrow. As we say, 2 defeats for Everton so far, but Liverpool, as you allude to, they've been very impressive so far, winning their first 2 games, including, of course, that win against Arsenal on the opening day. The Liverpool keeper, Rachel Laws, says that Liverpool have learnt lessons from the 3-0 defeat at Anfield last season, but clearly Liverpool are going to be really strong opposition tomorrow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can ever underestimate Liverpool. Even last season, I think they'd started off really well last season. They beat Chelsea on the first game of the season, which was a massive upset at the time. So they do have a history of starting the campaign well, and I think they've adapted very well since coming back up to the WSL, having spent some time out of it. So it's they're a fantastic side. But, make no mistake about it. But so are we. But I think, as we've seen in the men's and the women's games, sometimes the form book goes out the window when it comes to these derbies. I just hope that we can go there tomorrow, and as I say, I can just see the fire and the fight in the bellies of these players. These players want to go out and they want to win. They'll be frustrated with the results that they've had so far this season. And let's hope they can take it out on Liverpool tomorrow. Sorry for any Liverpool fans listening, but yeah, that's my hope for tomorrow. But as I say, I'm certainly not going to take Liverpool lightly at all. I think that they do have a fantastic squad of players, and they'll be looking to get one back at us. So yeah, let's hope they don't.
Matt Beard and the Liverpool team will be the first to admit that they could have done better last season. It wasn't the performance they wanted to achieve. But this year, there's a different look to the Liverpool side, Peter. New signings, they bring experience and also a degree of confidence. And for Liverpool, they come into the derby tomorrow also on the back of a midweek League Cup defeat away at Leicester City. Liverpool lost 2-1 on Wednesday. Natasha Flint scored Liverpool's goal. Now, Matt Beard recognised some positives from the performance for Liverpool midweek, but he was disappointed with Liverpool's use of the ball at times. He felt they lost their way to some degree in the second half. And I think, Peter, Matt Beard will use that defeat on Wednesday as a motivation to kick on tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Certainly they've started off, in the league so well. They would have wanted to have translated that into a good performance in the Conti Cup. But, I mean, Leicester again are on the other side. They've improved massively. They've got a decent manager now, Willie Kirk, who did a great job for Everton. And I just got to give a shout out to Hannah Kane as well, our former Everton player who scored against Liverpool again the other day. I believe she scored the winner away at Prenton Park last season as well for Leicester. So she's got a habit of scoring against Liverpool. So maybe we should be getting some tips from her as to how to break them down tomorrow. But yeah, I'm sure Liverpool will be okay this season. Like you say, they've brought in some good signings. They've moved a few players on, and they've freshened up the squad. I think for any team coming up into the WSL as well, it is such a culture shock in a sense. Even though Liverpool have had previous experience of being in the top flight, they did spend a couple of seasons down in the Championship, so it's always going to take time to adapt. But it's all about getting the right players in, getting the right mentality, and certainly from the start of the season that Liverpool have had, there's a lot of hope there for the fans that they can really make a mark in the league this season. Obviously, it's going to be tough with the amount of competition there is, certainly towards the top end of the table. And there's obviously ourselves, Aston Villa, probably Liverpool, maybe Tottenham, Brighton as well are looking good. So there aren't too many places to fight for in the WSL with only 12 teams in the league. So it's going to be an interesting season, I think. it's certainly not over in terms of Everton's season. We've still got high hopes of where we can finish this season, but I'm sure Liverpool do too.
Absolutely. And in terms of team selection for tomorrow, any news, Peter, in terms of possible team selection for Everton? Who do you think we'll see starting tomorrow?
To be honest, I mean, I'm not sure, and if I did know, I wouldn't tell you.
I like it.
I mean, one positive for us, or a couple of positives for us, are just seeing the training clips of some of the players who've been out so far this season, so the home guard twins in particular, and Cassius Noyce, we've missed them massively. So if those three are anywhere near the squad tomorrow, I think that gives us a massive lift and a massive boost, because they're three players who are so integral to how we want to play. And yeah, beyond that, I'm keeping Brian's cards close to his chest, close to my chest even. I wouldn't want to give too much away in case Matt B is listening. But yeah, I've got every faith in the squad of players, and I think there's a lot of players in there who will be hungry and wanting to make a point, and certainly a lot of players who are used to the big occasion, and the likes of Natalie Bjorn, who's got World Cup experience, Hannah Bennison, another big game player, Tony Duggan, we've touched on before, Rora Ghali, Lucy Hope. All these players are players who want it. Meg Finnegan as well, our captain, who scored at Anfield last season. All these players are going to want to go out there and prove themselves, and what better platform to be stood upon to be able to showcase what your ability is than a Merseyside derby live on Sky, in front of 30,000 people. So yeah, I've got every faith in this squad of players, and anyone who puts on that shirt tomorrow will give their all, I'm sure.
And in terms of Liverpool as well, we should say that Liverpool have got a fully fit squad to choose from tomorrow, with the exception of Nee Farhe, Leanne Kiernan, and also Shanice van den Sanden, who remain sidelined. So yeah, it's building up to be a terrific game tomorrow, 4:30 at Anfield. In terms of the tickets, Peter, I don't know in terms of whether people can still get tickets to go to the game tomorrow. I know that the under-18s have been able to get in for just £1, which is terrific value. But as far as you're aware, if people want to get tickets to go to Anfield tomorrow, can they still do so?
Right. If you want to get tickets for tomorrow, you're going to have to move very quickly, because I think they go on sale till 4 o'clock today. So you've got less than 20 minutes to pick up your tickets. So make sure, if you're listening and you do want to go, get on it straight away, because I think the box office closes at 4, and they don't sell tickets on the day. Going off last season, they stopped the sales the day before. So yeah, if you want to go tomorrow, make sure you get your tickets right away.
Excellent. Thank you, Peter. Always good to talk to you. We'll get you back into the studio fairly soon to talk about Everton, both the men's and the women's game, of course. But good to talk to you, and let's hope it's a really good game of football tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me on again, Paul, and up the toffees.